Hello, welcome back to the show. Now, did you know that men can be pregnant? It is 2024, of course. This isn't something you hear many women say because they frankly know that this is utter bunkum. But it's always the men, isn't it? A male Labour MP has said the NHS should stop using gendered vocabulary when treating pregnant women. Alex Sobel, you don't deserve the name, you nincompoop. Leeds Central and Headingley MP said doctors should use gender-neutral language when referring to expectant parents to include transgender men. Well, do you know what I say to you, sunshine? I say naff off. Let's speak now to Fiona McAnena, Director of Campaigns at Sex Matters. Now, Fiona, the thing is, people would, some people might be like, oh, here we go again, it's the culture wars. It's just some idiot leftist MP saying that men can get men can get pregnant and all doctors should be gender neutral by referring to expectant parents. I'd imagine when you are a woman and you are pregnant, and this is the greatest gift of womanhood, being able to conceive and carry a child, and it's a uniquely female condition. We've had to suffer through all of the periods and all the rest of this stuff, and you'd kind of think that if you're somebody who used to be a woman, has gone through all of that, and then decide that you want, for whatever reason, identify as a man and you can still have children, that, are you going to be that bothered if somebody calls you a woman? All of the other women out there in hospital, very vulnerable moments, will be bothered if they're not being treated like humans, i.e. by simply identifying what is clearly in front of the doctor's eyes.
Well, as you say, having a baby, being pregnant and having a baby is the most female thing that anyone can do. Not all women do it, but you have to be a woman to do that. No man has ever been pregnant or given birth, and I doubt very much they ever will. So the irony here is that this MP, Alex Sobel, he has identified a genuine issue, which is some women claiming to be men, taking testosterone, looking quite masculine, and then becoming pregnant. And because they change their medical record to say they are male, they could find themselves in hospital and not get proper treatment. And that has happened in the US. A pregnant woman who said she was a man, had stomach pains and a swollen belly, and in the hospital, the baby died before it could be delivered because they did not know she was female. And she was with her boyfriend, and they both played along with this person being male. Now, that's very irresponsible. But if your medical records say you're male, it's very difficult. So Alex Sobel has put his finger on a real problem here, but his solution, in my view, is a bit crazy. The solution, obviously, is to have accurate sex markers on your medical records, not to try and change the whole health service to pretend that it's not women who have babies.
I mean, he's pushing this case about a journalist, a trans man who gave birth to his son but was unable to be listed as the child's father. The High Court ruled that even though he was considered a man by law and had a gender recognition certificate to prove it, he could not appear on his child's birth certificate as father or even parent. I mean, this is just nitpicking now. You're a woman, you gave birth. I mean, what I want to know, though, is that if you've taken a shed load of hormones, testosterone, so on and so forth, to grow a beard and have your voice break, and then you also wind up carrying a child to full term, do we know what the risk assessment is? Is that fine? Is there any harm to the baby? Has anyone looked into that? Are we even allowed to talk about that?
I don't think we know what the harms might be. Ironically, the only study I know that's looked into it was done by a trans promoting research centre that said that affirming your identity was more important than any possible risks to the baby, and therefore a woman who's pregnant on testosterone should just keep taking it, which is an indication of how deeply embedded this ideology is. It's extraordinary someone would say that. But I think that medical staff find themselves in this terrible bind because sometimes they can see that the person in front of them is female and the person's denying it. Another story I've been told by staff in an English hospital in an emergency A&E area in a hospital is that they have had a couple of self-harming young women who say they're men come in, and then those young women want to be admitted to the men's ward. And the staff know that they shouldn't be in the men's ward. They're vulnerable young women. And so they've got this awful dilemma. They're supposed to play along with the patient's identity rather than act in the patient's best interest. And this is what we need to address. So we'd love to talk to Alex Sobel about this and say, yeah, let's sort out healthcare for everyone. So these poor young women, we can call them what they like if it makes them feel better, but we have to treat them properly, and let's make sure they do get proper healthcare, and their babies too.